Former Conservative Special Advisor Salma Shah and former Labour Minister Caroline Flint. Next.
You're watching Good Morning. Conservative Special Advisor Salma Shah and former Labour Minister Caroline Flint.
We will go back to the breaking news story at Heathrow Airport, though, of course.
Knock out as many homes as that and the entirety of the airport. It's got to be quite a significant thing to have happened. And I'm afraid people are going to have to start asking questions of the management of, the power station and really trying to understand, as we were talking about earlier, the resilience around
Well,
that.
it does. I mean, we're talking people very concerned.
Yeah, I'm absolutely... And, part of, support is needed, but this sort of situation is... here's another example where you have to happen.
Well, we'll keep on very soon. Let's move on. At a time like a parole meeting is remorse. Remember, we researched this, and Pakistani boys.
Well, that's not a sense that you have ignored. And so,
Raises the fact that he feeling you had about that whole case at all. The
to, at this point, decide to admit...
Stab Stephen Lawrence, falls to say, well, you to know what the Lawrence family think of this, by the way, said that if he was remorseful...
It'd be very interesting to hear their views. I'm sure we will, actually.
I'm sure.
It gets everybody watching because we all feel it. Dental Association. Move oil on your tooth because it hurts to... It is horrific,
We can see your teeth, your mouth is so wide open there.
It's horrible.
Pulled any of them out.
horrible, isn't it? So, it's...
Absolutely incredible.
To help me even with that.
It's a scandal, to be honest. But what he was offering was not enough. Whereas if they could get it
to the NHS,
it's going to have to be about money. And so when Rachel Reeves does her kind of what's supposed to be a spring statement and what sounds like it's going to end up being an emergency budget, do you think that there's going to be more money that's going to be put behind? There's a bit of poor parental responsibility.
Look, it all comes to paying for.
Yeah, OK.
And that's a decision politicians are going to have to make.
Yeah. Should we talk about something that I know Adel is...
On to constituents and people of...
And so I think the union needs to come out and say, what if you've now ended up with all these bins outside as a public health hazard? But what I'd like to know is, what is the Deputy Prime Minister, who also has responsibility for councils, what is she actually saying about this? Because Angela Rayner could go in and use a whole suite of things available to her, levers available to her, to go in and force the council to do something. So I'd like to see what the Deputy Prime Minister is going to say about this.
They have forced the council to do something. They have forced the council to recognise that it has to cut its budget.
OK, well, you two are coming back later on, aren't you? I'm sure we'll talk more about bins and actually at home if you... that, and also showing your stories on DIY dentistry. My goodness, so many of you have got horror stories there. And, of course, updating you on the situation at Heathrow, discussing...
We'll check if Salma needs any dentistry. Special Advisor Salma Shah and former Labour Minister Caroline Flint. Thanks, both of you, for joining us. A lot of people have been touched by this dentistry story today, that, can't get appointments at the NHS, and people...
As a priority, because if the NHS can't afford to pay for it, if we're all struggling...
Important energy supplies. I have to say, just looking at those pictures, I think earlier on the programme, I thought, think about substations, but it's actually quite a mass discussion, but it is incredible what's happening.
OK, we are out of time.
Sorry.
Keep your teeth in, love.
Yeah.